Hello, dear wanderer. Welcome. Welcome to this quiet space. This sanctuary I have prepared just for you. The day, with all its noise and its hurry, is now a distant shore. Here, there's only the soft murmur of my voice, the gentle rhythm of your own breathing, and the beginning of a story. As you settle in, finding that perfect place of comfort and stillness, allow your body to grow heavy. Feel the support of the surface beneath you, holding you, keeping you safe. With each breath you take, a long, slow breath in and a soft, easy breath out, you release a little more of the day. Let it all drift away, like fallen leaves on a slow-moving stream. There's nothing for you to do now, nothing to solve, nothing to hold on to. There's only this moment and the journey we are about to begin together. Tonight, my friend, our story is called The Gentle Flow of the Nile. Imagine with me now, let your mind paint a picture as I speak. Let us drift not just into a story, but into a time and a place far from here. A land sculpted by the sun and cradled by a river that is its very lifeblood. We are in ancient Egypt, and our companion on this journey is a young man named Kael. Kael is an apprentice scribe, a keeper of stories, accounts, and histories. He is not a hero of great battles, nor a pharaoh of immense power. He is quiet, observant. His greatest tools are the reed pens in his wooden case and the keenness of his eyes. His heart is a still pool, reflecting the world around him. Kael has been tasked with a special duty. He is to accompany a cargo barge from the southern city of Aswan, the gateway to Nubia, all the way downriver to the great city of Memphis. He carries with him a sealed satchel of important scrolls, records of the granite quarried from the sun-baked cliffs, destined for a new temple being built in the north. But his true task, the one given to him by his own soul, is simply to watch, to listen, and to learn from the great river itself. Our story begins at the water's edge on the docks of Aswan. The sun, a benevolent god in a sky of impossible blue, is beginning its descent. It casts everything in a warm, honey glow. The air is thick with the scent of the river, a smell of wet earth, green reeds, and something else, something ancient and clean. The sounds are a gentle symphony, the soft lapping of water against the wooden hulls of the feluccas. They're tall, white sails like the wings of resting birds. You can hear the distant calls of traders closing their stalls for the day, the gentle bleating of a goat being led home, and the rhythmic creak of the gangplank as the last of the cargo is loaded onto Kael's barge. Kael stands at the railing of the Ake, the horizon, a wide, sturdy vessel built of sycamore wood. He rests his hands on the sun-warmed rail, feeling the gentle, rhythmic sway of the boat as it sits tethered in the water. It's a feeling of being held, of being rocked ever so slightly. He looks out at the river, the great Nile. The Egyptians simply call it Itter, the river. To them, there is no other. It is the center of their world, the source of all life. The water here is a deep, tranquil blue, reflecting the sky above. But Kael knows that soon, with the coming inundation, it will turn a rich, fertile brown, thick with the silt that nourishes the entire land. The river is a living thing, a god, a mystery. And for the next few weeks, it will be his road, his home, and his teacher. The captain, a weathered man with eyes that hold the wisdom of 1,000 such journeys, gives a quiet command. The thick ropes are untied from the stone moorings, cast off with a soft splash. 2 men push away from the dock with long poles, and slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, the Ake begins to move. It has surrendered itself to the river's current. As you rest here tonight, dear wanderer, let us surrender with him. Let go of the shore of your day. Let the gentle current of this story carry you. Feel the soft sway of the barge, the warmth of the fading sun on your skin, the deep peace of beginning a long, slow journey. Your only task is to drift along with us, down the gentle flow of the Nile. Let your breath slow in and out. The journey has begun. Chapter 2. The granite shore and the primordial waters. The city of Aswan, with its bustling docks and sandstone temples, slowly recedes behind us. The sounds of the port city fade, replaced by the river's own quiet music. The gentle gurgle of water moving past the hull, the whisper of the evening breeze through the tall papyrus reeds lining the banks, the distant, lonely cry of an ibis. Kael watches the shore glide by. Here, the landscape is stark and powerful. Great, smooth boulders of pink granite, ancient and immense, push their way out of the earth and into the water's edge. They look like a herd of sleeping giants. The last rays of the sun catch the mica within the stone, making them glitter and sparkle as if they held captured starlight. These are the stones that built the great obelisks and statues of the pharaohs, stones that have been here since the beginning of time. Kael marvels at the sight. He thinks of the sheer weight of the granite blocks that lie in the hold beneath his feet. How can this wooden boat, this water, possibly hold such immense heaviness? The barge captain, seeing the look of wonder on the young scribe's face, sidles up beside him. "The river is stronger than the stone, boy," the old man says, his voice a low rumble. "It does not fight the stone. It simply makes way for it, embraces it, and carries it where it needs to go. And in this simple wisdom, there is a deep and gentle science. It's a truth you can feel in your own body as it rests, the principle of buoyancy. Science tells us, in its own quiet way, that an object in water is buoyed up by a force equal to the weight of the water it displaces. The barge, in its clever curved shape, pushes aside a massive amount of water, more than the weight of itself, its crew, and its cargo of stone combined. And so the river, in its immense liquid strength, holds it up. It yields, and in yielding it supports. The heaviest stone can be made to float, carried effortlessly by the gentle, persistent embrace of water. As you lie here, feel yourself being held, supported, just like the barge on the river. You are buoyant in the sea of your own restfulness, letting go of your weight, allowing yourself to be carried. The sun has finally dipped below the western hills, and the sky is painted in soft, dusky shades of violet and rose. The stars are beginning to appear, shyly at first, then with a brilliant confidence. Kael leans against the railing, the day's heat still radiating from the wood. His mind, lulled by the motion of the boat, drifts from the science of the water to the stories of the gods. His master scribe, a man who believed all knowledge was connected, once told him of the very beginning. Before there were gods or men, before there was sky or earth, there was only the none, the primordial waters of chaos, a dark, endless, silent ocean. It was boundless and still, holding everything that ever was or ever would be, coiled in its deep potential. And then from within the none, a thought, a consciousness, willed itself into being. The first mound of earth, the Benben, rose from the water, just as the fertile land of Egypt rises from the floodwaters of the Nile each year. On this first mound stood Adam, the first god, born of the water's deep creative power. From him, all other gods and all of life came into being. Kael looks out at the dark, shimmering water, and it's easy to imagine. He can see how his ancestors, watching the life-giving flood recede to reveal the fertile dark earth, would see creation itself. The river was their none, the source from which everything emerged. It wasn't just water, it was the liquid form of possibility, the cradle of life itself. The barge continues its slow northward drift. The crew has lit a small clay lamp, its single flame dancing and casting long soft shadows. The sound of their quiet conversation is a comforting murmur. Kael finds a comfortable spot on a pile of coiled rope, pulling his linen cloak around him as the night air cools. He is not just traveling on a river. He is drifting on the surface of a creation story, a living myth. The water that laps against the boat is the same water, in essence, that existed in the Nun, the same water that flows through the papyrus reeds, and the same water that makes up most of his own body. He feels a profound connection to it, a sense of being part of this ancient flowing story. And as Kael closes his eyes, listening to the soft sounds of the river at night, you can close your eyes too, my friend. Feel the gentle rocking of the boat, the soft breeze on your skin, the deep peace of the water. Your breath is a quiet current, flowing in and flowing out. Let the river carry you now into the deep, peaceful waters of sleep. Chapter 3. The Temple of Two Gods. We drift through the soft darkness of the Egyptian night. The moon, a sliver of polished silver, hangs in a sky awash with stars. The barge, the Ake, needs little guidance. The current is a sure and steady hand, pulling it ever northward. Kael sleeps, and perhaps you do too, dear wanderer. Or perhaps you're simply drifting in that beautiful, hazy space between wakefulness and dream. The air grows cooler, and the sounds of the night have changed. The chirping of insects on the bank has given way to a deeper silence, a stillness that feels ancient and sacred. It is this stillness that gently rouses Kael. He opens his eyes not to full wakefulness, but to a state of soft awareness. Ahead on the eastern bank, a structure is emerging from the darkness. It is a temple silhouetted against the faintly glowing sky. It sits on a high promontory overlooking a bend in the river, its grand pylons and columns reaching up like arms in prayer. This is the Temple of Kamambo, unique in all of Egypt, for it is a dual temple, a house for two gods. The captain has guided the barge closer to the bank, allowing the crew and its passenger a moment to gaze upon the sacred site. The temple is dedicated to two powerful deities, Sobuk the crocodile god, lord of the water, and Horus the elder, the falcon-headed god of the sky. Two forces, water and air, earth and heaven, honored in one place. Kael watches the temple, a place of perfect symmetry, even in the gloom. He can just make out the carved reliefs on the walls, a silent testament to centuries of worship. The captain's voice is low, barely a whisper, as if not to disturb the spirits of the place. "Come, Ambo," he murmurs, "the hill of gold." They say at night. You can sometimes hear the gods whispering to each other across the courtyard. Kael listens. He doesn't hear whispering gods, but he does notice something fascinating. A bird calls from the far bank of the river, and its cry travels across the water with an unnatural clarity, echoing softly off the stone walls of the temple. The gentle lapping of the river against the shore seems amplified, each sound distinct and pure. It is a simple, observable wonder, and science offers a beautiful explanation for it. Sound travels in waves, moving through the air. During the day, the sun warms the land and the air above it. The air closer to the river surface, however, remains cooler. Sound waves traveling over the water get refracted, bent upwards into the warmer air, and dissipated. But at night, the opposite happens. The land cools faster than the water, which retains its warmth. Now the air just above the water is a layer of warmer, less dense air trapped beneath the cooler air above it. Sound waves traveling across the river are now bent downwards, trapped in this channel, allowing them to travel much further and with greater clarity. The river at night becomes a natural conductor of secrets, a perfect medium for whispers. As you lie in the stillness of your room, notice the quiet sounds around you, or the deep silence itself. Your own breath, a soft and rhythmic wave of sound in and out. Kael's thoughts turn to the god of this place, Sobuk, the crocodile. He is a god of immense duality. The people of the Nile fear the crocodile, a creature of sudden, deadly violence that can emerge from the depths without warning. Yet, they also revere Sobuk as a potent symbol of pharaonic power and fertility. The crocodile emerges from the life-giving water, just as the crops do. He is a protector of the king, a symbol of strength and dominance, fear and reverence, danger and protection, all embodied in one creature. Just like the Nile itself, which can be a gentle, life-sustaining force one season, and a destructive, rampaging flood the next. The temple's builders understood this balance. They knew that to honor the river, you must honor both its calm and its fury. Kael imagines the sacred crocodiles that were once kept in the temple's pools, adorned with jewels and fed the finest cuts of meat, worshipped in life and mummified in death, treated with all the reverence of a king. It was a way of making peace with the river's most terrifying aspect, a way of turning fear into faith. The Ake does not stop. It continues its slow, ghostly glide past the temple. The silhouette of calm Ambo shrinks behind them, eventually becoming just another shadow on the shore. But the feeling of the place lingers with Kael, the sense of balance of two opposing forces held in perfect harmony. He settles back onto his bed of rope, pulling his cloak tighter. He thinks of the day and the night, the sun and the moon, the land and the water, the sound that is lost and the sound that is found. His mind is calm, lulled by this deep sense of equilibrium. The world is not a place of conflict, he thinks, but a place of balance. Allow this sense of balance to fill you now, my friend. The gentle coolness of the air on your skin, the deep warmth of the comfort that surrounds you. Let go of any tensions, any opposing thoughts from your day. Let them find their harmony, their peace. Your mind is a still temple. Your breath is a quiet prayer. Drift now. Drift on into the deep and balanced quiet of the night. Chapter 4. The Fields of Life and the God of Green. The first light of dawn finds the Ake drifting through a different landscape. The stark, rocky shores of the south have softened, giving way to wide, flat plains of unimaginable green. This is the black land Kemet, the gift of the Nile. As far as the eye can see, fields of barley wheat and flax sway in the gentle morning breeze, a vibrant, living tapestry woven between the river and the pale gold of the desert that lies just beyond. Kael is awake, sitting cross-legged at the bow of the barge, a piece of flatbread and some dates in his lap. The air smells sweet and fertile, the scent of damp earth-growing things and the delicate perfume of the blue lotus flowers that bloom at the water's edge. The world feels fresh and new, washed clean by the night. All along the riverbank, life is stirring. He sees farmers already at work in their fields, their silhouettes dark against the rising sun. Many are using a shaduf, an ancient and ingenious device. It's a long wooden pole, balanced on a fulcrum, with a bucket on one end and a heavy counterweight of mud on the other. A farmer pulls the rope to lower the bucket into an irrigation canal, fills it with water, and the counterweight does most of the work to lift it, pouring the life-giving water onto the thirsty crops. It's a rhythmic, graceful motion, a slow and steady dance that has been performed on these banks for thousands of years. Kael, the observant scribe, watches the water from the canal as it darkens the soil around the base of a flax plant. He sees how the water doesn't just sit on the surface, but is drawn upwards into the very stem of the plant. He has seen the same thing with the papyrus, reeds he uses to make his scrolls, how they drink the water from the marshes. He is witnessing a quiet miracle of nature, a phenomenon we now call capillary action. It's the ability of a liquid to flow in narrow spaces without the assistance of, or even in opposition to, external forces like gravity. It is a result of the water's own inner nature. The forces of cohesion, water molecules sticking to each other, and adhesion, water molecules sticking to another substance, like the inside of a plant stem. This gentle, persistent climbing of water, molecule by molecule, is what allows the smallest seeds to grow into the tallest trees. It is the river in its most intimate form, reaching up from the earth to touch the sun. As you rest, feel the life-giving energy flowing through you. Your own breath, your own circulation, a quiet, internal river nourishing you, restoring you without any effort at all. A gentle, upward flow of peace and well-being. This landscape of vibrant life and resurrection brings a particular story to Kael's mind. It is perhaps the most beloved and important myth in all of Egypt, the story of Osiris. Osiris was a wise and just king who taught humanity the arts of agriculture and civilization. He was beloved by all, but his jealous brother, Set, the god of chaos and the desert, tricked and murdered him. Set sealed Osiris in a chest and cast it into the Nile. Isis, Osiris's devoted wife and a powerful magician, searched tirelessly for her husband. She found the chest and hid it in the marshes, but Set discovered it. In his rage, he tore Osiris's body into 14 pieces and scattered them all across Egypt. Yet Isis did not despair. She transformed into a great bird and flew the length of the Nile, gathering every piece of her beloved. With the help of the gods, she bound him back together, creating the first mummy, and breathed life back into him with her wings. But Osiris could no longer rule in the land of the living. He became the king of the afterlife, the lord of the Duat, the gentle judge of souls. And each year when the Nile floods, bringing its rich, black silt to fertilize the land, the people see it as the promise of Osiris. He is the god of the green things that sprout from the dark earth, the symbol of resurrection and the eternal cycle of death and rebirth. The vibrant green of the fields is the physical manifestation of his triumph over death. Kael looks at the endless fields of green, at the life-giving water being lifted from the canals, and he understands. This is not just farming. This is an act of faith. Every seed planted is a prayer to Osiris. Every drop of water lifted from the river is an act of hope. The people here are living within their most sacred story, partners with their gods in the great cycle of life. The barge continues its unhurried pace. The sun climbs higher, but a gentle breeze from the north keeps the air pleasant. Kael watches a family of geese take flight from the reeds, their honks echoing in the wide open space. He feels a deep sense of peace. The world is orderly, cyclical, and full of grace. Death is not an end, but a transformation. The dry season is not a death, but a slumber before the great awakening of the flood. Allow this feeling of cyclical peace to settle over you, my friend. The rhythm of your breathing is a cycle, in and out, rise and fall, like the river, like the seasons, like the story of Osiris. There's nothing to fear in these cycles. They are the very rhythm of life, the pulse of the universe. Let this gentle rhythm carry you deeper, deeper into rest, deeper into peace. Chapter 5. The Potter's Wheel and the Breath of Creation. Days on the river blend into one another, each marked by the slow, steady arc of the sun. The journey is a meditation. The Akke has passed the grand temples of Luxor and Karnak, cities teeming with life, but the captain is on a schedule, and they did not stop. Kael watched the magnificent pylons and avenues of sphinxes glide by, content to be an observer, a passenger on the river of time. Now, they are approaching the town of Esna. Here, they must stop. The river narrows, and the current quickens. Esna is home to a temple dedicated to a very special god, and Kael has been granted a few hours ashore while the barge is resupplied. He steps onto the solid ground, his legs feeling strange and unsteady after so long on the water. The Temple of Esna is unique because its great hypostyle hall is sunk below the level of the modern town, as if the earth itself has risen to embrace it over the centuries. Kael descends the stone steps, entering a forest of massive columns. The air inside is cool and smells of ancient stone and faint, lingering incense. The ceiling far above is painted a deep blue and covered in astronomical carvings. This temple is dedicated to Khnum, the ram-headed god. Khnum is one of the most ancient creator deities. He is the divine potter. It is said that at the very beginning of time, Khnum sat at his potter's wheel, took clay from the banks of the Nile, mixed it with the river's water, and on his wheel, he fashioned the bodies of all living things. He crafted the first humans, molding them with care and attention. Then he would place these clay forms into the wombs of their mothers to be born. He is the source of the physical body, the shaper of our earthly vessels. Kael walks through the cool, silent hall, running his hand over the carved hieroglyphs on a column. He finds a relief depicting the god. There is Khnum, with his powerful ram's horns, sitting before his wheel. His hands are shaping a small human figure from a lump of clay. It's an image of immense tenderness and focused creation. Kael thinks about the clay itself. Dry it as brittle dust, but add water, the gift of the Nile, and it becomes malleable plastic, ready to be shaped into anything. A simple cup, a storage jar, or the vessel for a human soul. Water is the agent of transformation. It is the element that allows for creation. Without water, Khnum's clay would be useless. And science, in its own poetic way, affirms this. The plasticity of clay is a fascinating property. It's due to the microscopic, plate-like structure of its mineral particles. When water is added, it acts as a lubricant, filling the tiny spaces between these plates, allowing them to slide past one another without breaking apart. The clay can be stretched, pressed, and shaped. The water allows it to hold its new form. It is a perfect physical metaphor for how a gentle, yielding element can allow for profound and lasting change. As you lie here, resting, think of your own body. Feel how it yields to the surface beneath it, molding itself to comfort. In this state of deep rest, your body and mind are also malleable. Sleep is the potter's wheel for the soul, a time for healing, for reshaping, for gentle restoration. You are being renewed, reshaped by rest itself. Kael leaves the cool darkness of the temple and emerges back into the warm afternoon light. Near the docks, he sees a local potter at work. The man sits at a simple foot-powered wheel, a mound of wet, gray clay spinning before him. Kael stops to watch, mesmerized. The potter's hands, caked in mud, are steady and sure. They don't seem to force the clay, but rather to guide it. A gentle pressure here, a soft lifting there, and from a formless lump, the walls of a beautiful jar rise up, elegant and symmetrical. It seems less like building something, and more like revealing a form that was already hidden within. The potter is coated in the same river mud that nourishes the fields. He uses the same river water that carries Kael on his journey, and he is performing the same act of creation as the great god Khnum. The sacred and the everyday are not separate, Kael realizes. They are one and the same. The divine is present in the hands of a simple craftsman, in the turning of the wheel, in the magical transformation of mud and water into something both beautiful and useful. He returns to the Ake as the crew makes their final preparations to depart. He feels a sense of profound reverence for the simple creative acts that make up the world. His own work, the making of marks on papyrus, is a kind of shaping too. He is shaping stories, shaping knowledge. The barge pulls away from the docks of Esna, rejoining the main current of the Nile. Kael finds his quiet spot and watches the shoreline, his mind calm and centered. He feels as though he has been touched by the potter's hands himself, smoothed and centered by the experience. Let that same feeling of gentle, creative peace settle over you. Feel any rough edges of your day being smoothed away. Feel your mind becoming centered, calm, and whole. Your breath is the steady turning of the wheel, a rhythm of restoration. There's nothing to do, nothing to force. Simply allow yourself to be gently shaped by this moment of profound rest. Chapter 6. The Breath of the River, the Map of the Stars. The sun has set, and a profound darkness has fallen over the river, a darkness deeper than any city dweller can know. The moon is new, and its light is absent from the sky. In its place, the stars have emerged with a fierce and silent brilliance. The Milky Way is a luminous river of light, stretching from one horizon to the other, a celestial echo of the Nile below. The Ake drifts through the center of the channel, a tiny self-contained world of wood and shadow, floating between two rivers of light. The air is perfectly still. Kael lies on his back on the flat roof of the barge's small cabin, his hands clasped behind his head. The gentle rocking of the boat is barely perceptible, a slow, deep, rhythmic pulse, like the breathing of a sleeping giant. He watches the sky, utterly captivated. He knows the constellations his people use to navigate and to mark the seasons. He sees the outline of Mesquishu, the leg of a bull, which others in a different land might call the Big Dipper. He traces the shape of Saurian, the great hunter, striding across the heavens. And he waits for the most important star of all, Sopdet, or Sirius, to rise, the star whose appearance just before dawn heralds the coming of the annual flood. The stars are a map, a clock, and a calendar. As he watches, he notices a soft mist beginning to form just above the surface of the water. It's a delicate, silvery vapor, swirling in gentle, unseen currents of air. It seems as though the river itself is breathing, exhaling a cool, moist breath into the night air. This beautiful ethereal sight is the beginning of the water cycle, a constant, silent process that connects every drop of water on Earth. The river, having absorbed the sun's heat all day, is warmer than the cooling night air. This warmth gives energy to the water molecules at the surface, allowing them to escape as an invisible gas, water vapor. This is evaporation. As this warm, moist vapor rises and meets the cooler air, it changes back into tiny liquid water droplets, so small and light that they hang suspended in the air. This is condensation. It is the river breathing out, and the cool air turning its breath into a visible mist. This mist will eventually rise, form clouds, and return to the earth as rain, perhaps far away, feeding a stream that will eventually find its way back to the great river. It is a cycle of departure and return, a journey of water from the river to the sky and back again. Your own breath is part of a similar, beautiful cycle. With every inhale, you draw in the air of the world around you, and with every exhale you release it, changed. A long, slow breath in, feeling the cool air enter, and a soft, warm breath out, releasing it back into the night. You are breathing with the river. You are part of its great, quiet cycle. Kael's thoughts drift from the breath of the river to the journey of the gods. He thinks of the sun god, Ra, and his daily voyage. During the day, Ra sails the sunboat, the Manjet, across the blue ocean of the sky, bringing light and life to the world. But at sunset he does not rest. He transfers to his night boat, the Messektet, and begins a perilous journey through the Duat, the underworld. The Duat is a mystical realm, a river of darkness that mirrors the Nile. It is divided into 12 hours, each with its own gate, guarded by terrifying serpents and demons. Ra in his night boat must navigate this dangerous realm, bringing his light to the souls of the dead who dwell there, and defeating the great serpent of chaos, Apep, who tries to swallow the sun and plunge the world into eternal darkness. Only by triumphing over the chaos of the underworld can Ra be reborn at dawn, rising in the east to begin his journey anew, looking up at the star-filled sky and down at the dark, reflective water. Kael feels he is in the Duat. The barge is his Messektet, sailing through the 12 hours of the night. The journey is not one of fear, but of profound peace and trust. He feels protected, guided by the steady current. He trusts that the sun will triumph over the darkness. He trusts that dawn will come. The journey through the night is as important as the journey through the day. The journey through darkness is what makes the light possible. In the same way, the journey into sleep is not an end, but a vital passage. It is a time for the soul to navigate its own quiet waters, to face its own gentle shadows, and to emerge reborn with the morning light. Kael feels a deep sense of security. He is a part of these great cosmic cycles. The breath of the river, the journey of the stars, the voyage of the sun god. He is a tiny part of a grand, orderly, and beautiful universe. And in that realization, there is a peace that passes all understanding. Let that cosmic peace envelop you now, dear wanderer. You are safe on your own vessel, drifting through the quiet hours of the night. Your bed is a sanctuary. Your breath is a steady guide. Trust in the journey. Trust that the dawn will come. There's nothing to do but let go and drift on the river of night under a blanket of stars. Chapter 7. The Sacred City and the Weight of a Feather. The character of the river is changing again. It has widened, and the current feels slower, more majestic. The land along the banks is dotted with more villages, and the river traffic has increased. They pass barges heavy with grain, fishing skiffs with their nets drying in the sun, and ornate pleasure boats belonging to wealthy nobles. They are drawing closer to the heart of the kingdom. The captain informs Kael that they will be making a brief, unscheduled stop. A powerful nobleman who owns the barge has sent word that he requires a special offering to be made at Abydos, the most sacred city in all of Egypt. The Ake will moor for half a day, and Kael is permitted to go ashore. Abydos. The name itself is spoken with a hushed reverence. It is not a city of commerce or political power. It is a city of the soul. For millennia, it has been the primary cult center for the god Osiris, lord of the afterlife. It was believed that Osiris's head was buried here after his body was scattered by Set. To be buried at Abydos, or to have a monument there, was the greatest wish of every Egyptian, from the pharaoh to the common farmer. It ensured a blessed eternity in the field of reeds, the paradise of the afterlife. Kael walks from the bustling riverbank into the sacred precinct, and the noise of the world seems to fall away. The air here feels different, still and heavy with devotion. He walks along the processional way towards a magnificent temple built by Seti I, a structure of luminous white limestone. He sees pilgrims, some who have traveled for months, making their way towards the temple, their faces full of a quiet, hopeful solemnity. He enters the temple, and its beauty takes his breath away. The reliefs here are considered the finest in all of Egypt, their lines fluid and graceful, their details exquisitely preserved. Kael finds a quiet corner in a chapel dedicated to Osiris and sits on the cool stone floor. Here, surrounded by images of the god and his story, Kael's thoughts turn to the final journey every soul must take. According to his beliefs, after death, a soul would be guided by the god Anubis to the hall of two truths. There, the soul's heart would be weighed on a great golden scale against the feather of Ma'at, the goddess of truth, justice, and cosmic order. The heart, which the Egyptians believed was the seat of intelligence and memory, contained a record of all the deeds, good and bad, performed in life. If the heart was heavy with sin, heavier than the feather, it would be devoured by the terrifying beast Ammit, a creature with the head of a crocodile, the torso of a lion, and the hindquarters of a hippopotamus. The soul would cease to exist, a fate more terrifying than any punishment. But if the heart was light, balanced, and true, as light as the feather, the soul would be declared true of voice and led by Horus into the presence of Osiris, to live forever in paradise. Kael contemplates this image, a feather. What could be lighter? It seems an impossible standard. But the feather of Ma'at does not represent emptiness. It represents balance, truth, and living in harmony with the natural order of the universe. It is not about being perfect, but about being true. And this ancient belief touches upon a modern scientific understanding of our own being. Our bodies are in a constant state of seeking balance, a state we call homeostasis. Our internal temperature, our blood pressure, the pH of our blood, all are maintained within a very narrow, precise range by a complex and beautiful system of feedback loops. Like the scales of Ma'at, our bodies are constantly weighing and adjusting, seeking equilibrium. When we are in balance, we are healthy. When that balance is disturbed, we experience illness or distress. Rest, my friend, is your body's most profound way of returning to this state of natural balance. Sleep is the great homeostatic process of the mind and body. As you lie here, your body is doing just that. It is recalibrating, rebalancing, seeking its own perfect, restful equilibrium. You don't have to do anything to make it happen. You simply have to allow it. Let go and let your body find its own weightless balance. Kael rises and walks deeper into the temple, to the strange and unique structure at the back, known as the Osirian. It is built at a lower level, and its foundations are sunk into the water table. A channel from the Nile feeds it, so that the central part of the sanctuary is a stone island surrounded by water, symbolizing the primordial mound rising from the waters of Nun. Here, the connection between the river creation and the afterlife is made tangible, built in stone and water. He stands at the edge of the pool, looking at the dark, still water. It feels like the beginning and the end of all things, right here in this sacred, silent place. He understands that the journey down the Nile is not just a physical one. It is a mirror of the soul's journey towards truth and balance. To float on the river is to practice for the final weighing of the heart. To live in harmony with the river's rhythm is to live in harmony with Ma'at herself. He returns to the barge, feeling cleansed, his spirit as calm and still as the water in the Osirian. The small offering has been made. The journey can continue. But something in Kael has settled. The small anxieties of his apprentice life seem trivial now, as light as a feather. As the Ake pulls away from the sacred shores of Abydos, allow that sense of lightness to fill you. Let go of the weight of your day, the burdens you have been carrying. Imagine your heart, light and balanced, resting peacefully in your chest. Your breath is soft and effortless, as light as a feather on the still air. You are true of voice. You are at peace. Let this feeling carry you now, gently, peacefully, into the deepest state of rest. Chapter 8. Journey's End, the Great White Walls. For several more days, the Ake has followed the Nile's gentle, insistent pull. The river has grown wider still, a great, shimmering highway of water under a vast sky. The greens of the cultivated land are more vibrant, the villages more frequent, the sense of approaching a great center of power more palpable. And one afternoon, Kael sees it. At first, it is just a faint, triangular shape on the western horizon, pale against the blue sky, almost a mirage in the shimmering heat. Then another appears, and another. The great pyramids of Giza. They are still a full day's journey away, but their sheer scale defies distance. They are mountains made by human hands, silent, eternal watchers over this land. The sight stills all conversation on the barge. The crew, men who have seen this sight 100 times, still gaze in awe. The pyramids mark the approach to their destination, Memphis, the ancient capital of Egypt, known as a Nebhej, the White Walls, for the great whitewashed mud brick walls that were said to encircle it. It is the administrative and religious heart of the kingdom, a sprawling metropolis where the power of the two lands, Upper and Lower Egypt, is unified. As the barge sails the final leg of its journey, the riverbanks become a blur of activity. Great estates with lush gardens, bustling towns, and countless temples line the shores. The water is crowded with boats of every size and description. The air, once filled with the sound of nature, now carries the hum of a great city, a distant, low thrum of a million lives being lived. Finally, they arrive. The barge is expertly guided into a crowded, chaotic harbor, a forest of masts and sails. The noise is a symphony of human endeavor. The shouts of dock workers, the hammering from boat yards, the calls of merchants selling their wares. The smells are a complex mixture of spices from distant lands, baking bread, river water, and the dust of 1,000 roads. Kael stands at the railing, his journey complete. He clutches the sealed leather satchel of scrolls, the purpose of his long voyage. He feels a strange mix of emotions. There is the relief of arrival, the satisfaction of a duty fulfilled. But there is also a quiet sadness that the journey is over. The days of drifting, of quiet observation, of being rocked to sleep by the river's rhythm, have come to an end. He remembers the stillness of the first night out of Aswan, the eerie clarity of the sound across the water at Kamambo, the vibrant green of Osiris's fields, the potter's wheel at Esna, the starlit canopy of the Duet, and the profound peace of Abydos. Each was a lesson from the river. Each was a quiet unfolding of a mystery. The water, the central theme of his journey, had been his guide, his companion, and his teacher. It had shown him how to carry heavy burdens, how to balance opposing forces, how to nurture life, how to be shaped, how to navigate the darkness, and how to find peace. A representative from the temple of Ptah, the chief god of Memphis, is waiting for him. Kael hands over the scrolls, his mission accomplished. The man thanks him curtly and disappears into throng. The climax is not a grand ceremony, but a simple, quiet transfer. The journey itself was the true event. The barge captain gives Kael his payment and a warm clap on the shoulder. "You have the river in you now, boy," the old man says with a smile. "It never leaves you." Kael finds a quiet inn not far from the harbor. His room is small and simple, with a window that looks out not onto the river, but onto a dusty, busy street. For the first time in weeks, the ground beneath his feet is completely still. The silence is not the deep, living silence of the river night, but the muffled quiet of a city pausing for breath. He lies down on the simple cot. He can still feel the ghost of the boat's motion, a gentle phantom swaying in his body. It is a comforting feeling. He closes his eyes, and in his mind, he is not in this small room in Memphis. He is back on the Ake, drifting under the stars. He hears the soft lap of water against the hull. He feels the cool night breeze. He smells the scent of the wet earth. The journey has imprinted itself upon him. He has carried the scrolls to Memphis, but the river has carried him to a new understanding of himself and his world. He has arrived at his destination, and it is a place of deep, earned peace. My friend, you too have reached the end of this outward journey. You have traveled far, seen many wonders, and now you have arrived at your own safe harbor. Your bed is your inn, a place of sanctuary and rest. The journey of your day is complete. All your tasks are done. Give yourself permission now to find that same deep, restful peace that Kael feels. Let the gentle, phantom motion of the river rock you. Let the lessons of the water wash over you, the strength, the balance, the life, the peace. You have arrived. You are safe. It is time to rest. Let your breath be slow and deep, a final, gentle current pulling you into the harbor of sleep. Good night, Kael. Good night, dear wanderer. Chapter 9. The return begins, echoes on the water. After 2 days in the bustling, overwhelming city of Memphis, Kael feels a pull. It is the call of the river, the yearning for the slow, rhythmic life he had grown so accustomed to. His duty is done, but his journey is not complete. He must return home to Aswan, back up the river. He finds passage not on a grand cargo barge, but on a smaller, swifter merchant skiff. Traveling south against the current will be a different kind of journey. There will be no leisurely drifting. The boat will stay close to the bank, its single large sail angled to catch the prevailing northerly wind, the same breeze that cooled Kael on his journey down. When the wind fails, the crew will take to long poles, pushing against the riverbed. It will be a journey of effort, of working with the wind against the water. As the skiff pulls away from the docks of Memphis, Kael watches the great city recede. He is no longer just an apprentice scribe carrying scrolls. He feels different, though he cannot quite put it into words. The river he is now traveling upon is the same river, yet he sees it with new eyes. The journey north was a process of observation, of taking things in. This journey south, he senses, will be one of reflection, of letting things settle. His mind is no longer a blank scroll, but one filled with the rich ink of experience. He watches the familiar sights pass by in reverse order, the lush fields, the towns, the temples. But now they are not new discoveries, but familiar friends. He sees a farmer using a shadif, and he doesn't just see a clever device. He sees the dance of life, the echo of Osiris, the miracle of capillary action drawing water into a thirsty stem. He sees the sun glitter on the water, and he doesn't just see light. He sees the skin of the river, the tension that holds it together, the surface that Ra's sunboat sails upon. His focus is less on the world outside and more on the landscape within. The memories of the journey downriver are like smooth, beautiful stones he can turn over in his mind. He recalls the feeling of the warm granite at Aswan, and the captain's words, "The river embraces the stone." He had been the stone, he thinks, heavy with his duties and his own quiet anxieties. The river had embraced him, carried him, and shown him a kind of lightness he had never known. The motion of this boat is different. It is quicker, more energetic. But Kael finds the rhythm in it, the creak of the mast, the snap of the sail in the wind, the rhythmic splash and push of the poles. It is the rhythm of purpose, of returning home. He spends less time watching the shore and more time watching the water itself. He is fascinated by the eddies and whirlpools that form where the wind-pushed boat fights the river's current. He sees how the water doesn't resist in anger, but yields, swirls, and reforms. It is a constant fluid conversation between two great forces, the river flowing south to the sea, and the wind blowing north from it. His boat is right at the heart of that conversation. His inner world is much the same. His memories of the journey, the stories, the science, they're all swirling within him, finding their place, settling into a new kind of understanding. The journey has given him knowledge, but the reflection is turning that knowledge into wisdom. As evening falls, the skiff moors at a small, quiet village. The crew builds a small fire on the bank, and they share a simple meal of fish and bread. Kael sits a little apart, watching the last light fade on the water. The river is a ribbon of deep indigo, reflecting the pale pinks of the sky. He feels a profound sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the river, for the journey, for the quiet changes it has wrought within him. He is going home, but he will not arrive the same person who left. The river has flowed through him and left its own fertile silt upon his soul. As you rest tonight, my friend, perhaps your own mind is turning over the events of your day or your week. Let this process be as gentle as Kael's reflection. There's no need to analyze or to judge. Simply let the memories be. Let them swirl and settle. The journey homeward is a time of integration, of allowing experiences to become a part of you. Your breath is the steady wind in your sails. Your rest is the quiet mooring at the end of the day. You are on your way home, home to your deepest self. Let the gentle currents of your own mind carry you now, peacefully, reflectively, into the calm harbor of sleep. Chapter 10. Nearing Home, a meditation on rest. Weeks have passed on the journey south. The sun and the wind have been their partners, pushing them steadily upriver. Kael's skin is darker, his gaze more distant. He has become a creature of the river, as comfortable with its moods and rhythms as the heron that stands motionless in the shallows. One morning, he awakens to a familiar feeling in the air, a particular dryness, a certain quality of light. He looks to the eastern bank and sees them, the great sleeping giants of pink granite, the boulders that mark the approach to his home. Aswan. A deep sense of peace and homecoming washes over him. The landscape, once a site of departure and new beginnings, is now a symbol of arrival and rest. He sees the familiar bend in the river, the specific grove of palm trees, the temple on the island of Philae in the distance. Every detail is a welcome. The river itself seems to flow differently here, or perhaps it is only his perception that has changed. The water seems clearer, the current more gentle. It is as if the river is easing him back into the embrace of home, letting him down gently after his long journey. The central theme of his entire voyage, water, now connects directly to this feeling of homecoming. The river was his road, his protector, his teacher. It carried him away, and now it has guided him back. The water of the Nile is the great circulatory system of his entire world. It flows from the heartland of Africa, gives life to Egypt, and empties into the great green sea, only to be drawn into the sky and return again. It is a cycle of endless return, and Kael's journey has been a small loop in that immense, eternal cycle. He thinks about rest. He has rested on the slow-drifting barge, his body rocked by the current. He has rested in the cool silence of temples. He has rested under a canopy of stars. But the rest he is approaching now is different. It is the rest of homecoming. It is the deep, cellular sigh of a body and soul that has returned to its own familiar place. The journey has changed his appreciation for home. Before, it was simply the place where he lived. Now it feels like a sanctuary he has earned. The simple comforts he took for granted, the familiar pattern of the woven mat on his floor, the specific way the light falls through his window in the morning, the taste of water from his own local well, now seem like profound luxuries. The journey out into the world has made his own small corner of it infinitely more precious. As the skiff navigates the final stretch towards the docks of Aswan, Kael sees his master, the old scribe, waiting for him on the shore. The old man is not smiling, but his eyes hold a deep and welcoming light. Kael knows there will be no great celebration. He will simply return to his duties, to the grinding of ink and the copying of texts. But the work will be different now, because he is different. He will see the water he mixes with his ink not just as a tool, but as a thread of connection to the great river, to Osiris, to the breath of the world. The boat bumps gently against the dock. The journey is over. Kael steps onto the shore, the same shore he left what seems like a lifetime ago. He is home. He is at peace. And so are you, my friend. You are nearing your own final destination for the night, the deepest, most restorative stage of sleep. Your journey through this story is coming to its gentle close. Let the feeling of homecoming fill you. Your bed is your safe harbor. Your room is your sanctuary. The familiar weight of your blankets, the specific softness of your pillow. These are the comforts of home. Let your entire being sigh in relief. The journey is done. You have returned. The great cycle of your day has led you back to this place of profound rest. Connect the feeling of your breath, that steady, reliable rhythm, to this sense of homecoming. Every breath is a small arrival. In and out, welcome home. Welcome to your rest. There's nowhere else you need to be, nothing else you need to do. Simply be here, safe and at peace, as you drift into the deepest, most welcoming sleep. Chapter 11, Echoes of the Road. Reflection under starlight. The granite shore. Kael is home. He has been back in Aswan for many nights now, his life falling back into its familiar, quiet rhythm. He grinds his inks, prepares his papyrus, and copies the text his master assigns him. The great journey down the Nile and back could almost seem like a dream. But tonight, he cannot sleep. The air is warm, and the sounds of the city have quieted. He walks from his small room to the flat roof of his dwelling, a place he has often come for quiet contemplation. The sky above is the same brilliant tapestry of stars he saw from the deck of the Ake. He lies down on the cool clay roof, just as he did on the barge, and closes his eyes. His mind, free from the day's tasks, drifts. It does not wander aimlessly, but flows back to the very beginning of his journey. He is on the barge again, leaving this very city. He feels the sun-warmed railing under his hands, hears the soft splash as the mooring ropes are cast off, and he sees them again in his mind's eye, as clear as if they were before him. The great sleeping giants of pink granite, lining the shore. In memory, the image is even more powerful. He is no longer just a boy wondering how a boat can float. He is a traveler who has seen the length of the river. He reflects now not just on the principle of buoyancy, but on its deeper meaning, the ability of something soft and yielding, like water, to carry something hard and unbending, like stone. His mind delves deeper into the nature of that water. Science now tells us that water's unique ability to support and to dissolve, to be both gentle and powerful, comes from its very structure. A single water molecule, H2O, is polar. The oxygen atom has a slight negative charge, and the two hydrogen atoms have slight positive charges. This makes it a tiny magnet. These little magnets are constantly attracting and linking up with each other, a phenomenon called hydrogen bonding. This is what gives water its high surface tension, its ability to stick together. It's what gives it its liquid strength. It is a community of molecules working together. This simple scientific fact feels like a profound spiritual truth to Kael as he lies there under the stars. The river's strength is not the strength of a single mighty force, but the collective strength of countless tiny, connected parts, all working in unison. It supports the granite not through opposition, but through a deep molecular cooperation. And his thoughts drift again, as they did that first night, to the myth of the nun, the primordial waters. In his memory, the story is richer. He doesn't just see the mound of creation rising. He feels the immense, patient potential of the silent water. The nun wasn't empty. It was full. It held everything. It was pure potential. The creation was not something made from nothing, but something that emerged from everything. He realizes that the journey itself was like that. He didn't gain knowledge from an empty slate. The river simply helped to call forth the understanding that was already dormant within him, just as Adam was called forth from the none. The journey gave form to the potential that was already there. Lying on his roof in Aswan, the city of his birth, Kael feels a deep connection to that first night of his journey. The beginning and the end are touching. The memory is not a faint echo, but a living presence. The peace of that first night, the sense of wonder, the feeling of surrendering to a greater current. It is all here with him now, accessible to him whenever he stills his mind. The journey is not over. It lives inside him. And so it is with you, dear wanderer. The quiet moments of your life are not gone. They live within you. As you rest, you can journey back to them. You can access that peace, that stillness, that sense of wonder. Your memory is a gentle river, and you can drift upon it back to any safe harbor you have known. Let your mind drift now, back to a time of peace, a place of safety, and let that feeling fill you, hold you, and carry you deeper into your rest. Chapter 12, Echoes of the Road, Reflection under Starlight, The Potter's Wheel. Another night finds Kael at rest. The work of the day is done. A long passage from a wisdom text carefully copied onto a fresh scroll. His fingers are stained with ink, and his back aches slightly from bending over his low desk. He seeks his rooftop sanctuary, the cool night air balm on his skin. He breathes deeply. The rhythm of it slow and familiar, in and out, and with his breath, his mind begins to travel again. It flows past the memory of Aswan, past the dual temple of Kamambo, past the green fields of Osiris, and it comes to rest in the cool, columned hall of the temple of Esna. He is there again. He feels the chill of the ancient stone, smells the faint, sweet scent of incense that never quite leaves the air. He sees the astronomical ceiling, a sky of painted blue, and before him, carved into the stone, is the image of the ram-headed god Knum at his divine potter's wheel. In his memory, Kael focuses on the god's hands, the gentle, sure pressure on the spinning clay, the act of creation that is not force, but guidance. On his journey, he had connected this to the physical world, to the potter at the docks, to the plasticity of clay and water. But now, in the stillness of his own mind, he sees a deeper metaphor. He thinks about his own life, his disciplined training as a scribe, the steady pressure of his master's teachings, the experiences of his journey down the Nile. All of these have been like the potter's hands, shaping him. He is not the same person he was before he left. The unformed clay of his youth is taking on a new shape, a new purpose. He is being molded. This idea of being shaped by life resonates with a deep, quiet truth. We now know that our own brains are not fixed, static objects. They are remarkably plastic, a concept called neuroplasticity. Throughout our lives, our experiences, our thoughts, and our habits are constantly reshaping the neural pathways in our brains. Old connections are pruned away, and new ones are formed. Like Knum's clay, our very minds are malleable, capable of being reshaped and reformed. And sleep, Kael's mind seems to understand on an intuitive level, is the most important time for this reshaping. It is during the deep stages of sleep that the brain consolidates memories, clearing out the unimportant details of the day and strengthening the pathways of the important lessons. Sleep is the kiln that fires the clay, making the new shape permanent. It is the time when the work of the potter's hands is truly set. Lying on his roof, Kael feels this process happening within him. The memories of his journey are not just random images. They are being woven into the fabric of who he is. The wisdom of the river captain, the awe of the pyramids, the balance of Ma'at. They are becoming part of his own internal architecture. He is being gently, peacefully, reshaped by his own rest. He then recalls the potter he saw at the docks, the man's complete focus, his serene expression. The creation was happening through him, not just by him. He was a vessel for the creative act. Kael realizes that to be shaped, one must be willing to yield, to be soft, to be open to the process. To fight the potter's hands is to remain a formless lump. To yield is to become a vessel of beauty and purpose. Rest is an act of yielding. It is a release of control. It is allowing the deep, wise, restorative processes of your own body and mind to do their work. You are the clay on the wheel, and rest is the gentle, shaping hand of the potter. Allow yourself to yield now, my friend. Release your grip on the day. Soften the muscles in your jaw, your shoulders, your hands. Be the soft clay. Trust in the quiet, wise process of rest. You are being renewed. You are being restored. You are being made whole. There is nothing for you to do but to be still and to allow this gentle transformation. Let the wheel of your breath turn slowly, steadily, carrying you into a deep and profound state of peace. Chapter 13. Echoes of the Road. Reflection under starlight. The starlit canopy. The nights of Aswan are growing warmer, a sign that the season is turning, that the great inundation is still months away. Kael lies on his rooftop, a familiar ritual now, a nightly pilgrimage into the landscape of his memory. Tonight, the sky is exceptionally clear. The river of the Milky Way is so bright it seems to cast a faint, silvery light upon the sleeping city. And Kael's mind travels to the memory of that light, to the night he lay on the roof of the Ake, floating through what felt like the Duat, the celestial underworld. He is there again. He feels the profound stillness, the boat a mere speck between the river of water below and the river of stars above. He remembers the mist rising from the water's surface, the visible breath of the river, evaporation, condensation, the beginning of the great water cycle. In the quiet of his rooftop, this memory deepens. The cycle of water now seems to him the ultimate metaphor for all of existence. The water of the river does not stay in the river. It rises invisible into the sky. It travels on the wind. It becomes a cloud. It falls as rain on a distant mountain. It seeps into the earth, joining an underground stream. It emerges from spring and begins its long journey back to the great river. The water is never lost. It only changes form. It only changes its location. It is on a constant journey of departure and return. It strikes him that consciousness might be the same. During the day, his mind is here in his body, in the city of Aswan, focused on his tasks. It is the river, flowing in its defined banks. But at night, in sleep and in dreams, where does it go? Perhaps, like the water, evaporates. It rises from the solid ground of the body and the waking world, and travels to other realms. It journeys through landscapes of memory and imagination, through the duet of the subconscious. It is never lost, only changed in its form. And with the dawn, it condenses back into the body, returning to the waking world, refreshed and renewed by its travels. Sleep is not an absence of being, he thinks, but a different state of being, a journey, a return to the sky. This ancient intuition mirrors what our science now explores. The brain in sleep is not dormant. It is incredibly active, cycling through different stages, each with its own unique pattern of brainwaves. There are the deep, slow waves of restorative sleep and the rapid, chaotic-seeming waves of the REM stage, where we do our most vivid dreaming. It is a vast, complex, and largely uncharted territory, a nightly journey to an inner cosmos. Kael looks up at the real stars, and he feels the boundary between his inner world and the outer world dissolve. The starlight he sees traveled for years, for centuries, to reach his eye. The water in his own body has been on an unimaginable journey, through rain and rivers, through plants and animals, for millions of years. The iron in his blood was forged in the heart of an exploding star, billions of years ago. He is not separate from the universe, he observes. He is a part of it. He is a vessel containing starlight and river water, and the history of the cosmos. This realization does not make him feel small. It makes him feel boundless. His small life, his quiet existence as a scribe in Aswan, is connected to the grandest cycles of the universe. To breathe is to participate in the atmosphere. To drink is to participate in the water cycle. To sleep is to participate in the mystery of consciousness itself. Feel this sense of boundless connection now, dear wanderer. You are not just a body resting in a bed. You are a universe of atoms, a vessel of ancient starlight, a part of every cycle of nature. Your breath connects you to the air of the world. The stillness of your body connects you to the deep gravitational pull of the earth. And your drifting mind is part of the great, mysterious ocean of consciousness. Let go of the small boundaries of yourself. Feel yourself expand, becoming part of the quiet, breathing night. You are safe. You are connected. You are eternal. Drift on this feeling, this boundless peace, as you journey into the heart of the great cosmic night. Final chapter, epilogue, an eternal meditation. The story of Kael, the gentle scribe, now fades. His journey on the river, his rooftop reflections, they dissolve like mist in the morning sun. Let the boat, the temples, the stars of Egypt recede into the soft landscape of memory. The narrative is over. The character has played his part. And now there's only you, my friend. And the central, timeless theme of our journey, water. Let your mind rest now not on a story, but on an essence. Picture water in its purest form. A single perfect drop, holding the reflection of the entire world in its tiny, curved surface. It is clear. It is pure. It holds nothing, yet contains everything. Feel the quality of water, its yielding nature. It never argues. It never resists. It meets an obstacle, and it flows around it or over it or under it. It finds the path of least resistance. It is the embodiment of gentle, persistent strength. Let this quality of yielding fill your own body. Feel every muscle releasing, letting go of all resistance, finding its own easy path into softness, into rest. Listen to the sound of water, the soft lapping of a quiet lake against a shore, the rhythmic hush of waves on a sandy beach, coming in and going out, a sound that has soothed souls for all of time. Let the rhythm of this sound merge with the rhythm of your own breath, inhaling with the gentle gathering of the wave, exhaling with its soft release upon the sand. A steady, eternal lullaby. In and out, think of the stillness of water. A deep, clear pool untouched by wind. Its surface a perfect mirror for the sky above. In its stillness, it finds clarity. All the silt, all the disturbance has settled to the bottom, leaving only pure transparency. Your mind can be this still pool. Let the busy thoughts of the day, the silt of your worries, gently, slowly settle. Allow them to drift down, leaving your mind clear, quiet, and reflective. A perfect, peaceful stillness. Feel the support of water. Imagine yourself floating, weightless, in a vast, warm, tranquil sea. The water holds you completely. You do not need to strive or struggle. You are fully supported, fully held, in a gentle, buoyant embrace. Your bed becomes this warm, tranquil sea, holding you, supporting every part of you, letting you release all effort, all tension. You are safe. You are held. Drift now, dear wanderer. Drift on this boundless, abstract ocean of peace. You are leaving the shore of the waking world far behind. You are floating in the great, primordial water of rest, the deep, quiet potential from which all dreams are born. There is no story now but your own. No journey but the one you take into the depths of your own peaceful sleep. Good night, my friend. May your dreams be as deep and as peaceful as the river that guided us from the beginning to forever.